If I'm going to share my stories, some that nobody's ever heard before, what better way to do so than to start off with one of my own? As an investigator, I grew obsessed with solving cold case files. The rush of possible leads and obtaining new information was amazing. The euphoria was equivalent to the times my kids would run and hug me tight after finally returning home from one of my solved mysteries. My life was very chaotic. For example, my wife would always call me, trying to see if I had mistresses in other states. My boss would constantly check on me to see if I made progress, and the families of the victims would call me asking for updates. Ironically, in some cases, the killer ended up being the family member who was on the phone asking for these updates. Anyways, the final case I took was in Arizona. It changed my life forever. It was the only case I was unable to give satisfaction to the parents who lost their children to the cult. I was unable to put these men behind bars. But believe me, if I ever see them, I will carry out vigilante justice. So let me start out with the night I met these scumbags. I walked into the inn. To my right, at the far end of the bar, was a tall Caucasian man with a large beer belly, his hair missing on top of his head from his climbing age. He had blackened his gums from his years of chew, yellowing of his teeth from his daily cig addiction, his eyes bloodshot from past due his alcohol limit. I didn't care. I was exhausted and over with my shift. Each blink I took, my eyelids felt like a ton of bricks. After what I saw today, on that kid's body cam, there was absolutely no way I was going to be able to go home and get sleep. To the left of that guy was a short, stocky black male who had his silver or perhaps white gold necklace tucked away in his shirt. His head was shaved, his teeth were nicely clean. This young man looked sharp and took care of himself. I didn't see a wrinkle in his striped shirt. To the left of this guy was a good old-fashioned tremor hunting looking son of a shepherd. His cowboy hat must have been white at some point. It was so sun-damaged, the yellow was turning brown. His button-up shirt had a few unbuttoned holes at the top, and sported his chest hair way too proudly. The closer I got to him, the more I was sure the scent of brute aftershave was coming from this man. His belt buckle was a miniature stop sign. It had this shock and awe effect. The damn thing was so big, you just stop in your tracks and stare at it. His jeans were tight, tighter than my brother's fist that he made every time he got word his football team, the Buccaneers, lost another game. And last but not least, his dirty shit kickers. The man either digs holes for a living or judges mud wrestling matches. I wasn't sure. I decided to take a seat next to the cowboy. I had seen him shaking hands with the bartender, so I figured he had it in good with the locals. I took my badge and rested it on the counter. It read, Detective, Nevada. The bartender's eyes grew wide as he saw the badge. Then he looked over at the cowboy and gave a little nod with a wink. The bartender told everyone to the right of me, "This here's a good man. What can I get for you, sir? Something strong for your troubles?" I looked down. "Yeah, I'll take whatever cognac you got back there. Straight on the rocks." The bartender made it a double shot. He turned around and handed me the shot, saying, "I added a little extra, only because you seem a little extra bothered. An investigator from Nevada, huh? You must be some kind of badass if our own locals couldn't figure it out. Did something happen in the area?" I grabbed my shot glass and slammed the drink, like it had the answers to all my problems. "Well, to be honest, I want to talk about it, but it's not something I could get off my chest," I said. "It's very disturbing and not for the faint of heart. But I will tell you something." The bartender and the three other men at the bar all leaned towards the investigator with excitement and eagerness. I specifically looked at all of them and chuckled. It's not that serious, boys. I was just going to ask for another shot." The cowboy slammed a $20 bill on the counter. "Hey, Arnie, I'll buy this man's next 2 shots. He's a man of the law, and I respect him for dedicating his life doing something that keeps the peace, no matter what state he's in." The bartender looked over at the cowboy. "Damn, Valentine, that's mighty generous of you. Tell you what, I'll make these double." The tall man at the end of the bar began to chuckle. Arnie looked over at him. "What's up, Larry?"
You done warming up that beer bottle with your hands? Well, it's not that, said Larry. It's just I feel a little jealous. I've been coming here for years.
I never get free shots like this city slicker.
Arnie laughed.
Oh!
Don't be jealous of another man, Cupcake. Maybe if you did something with your life, like this fine man has, you'd get free shots all week.
Larry chuckled. I have done something with my life. I made myself a loyal customer of this outhouse you call a bar, he added with a wink. Arnie slammed his fist on the counter. And a damn good choice you made with your pathetic life, and your future is as bright as the dark yellow on your teeth, my good friend. Larry raised his warm beer bottle. Cheers to that, old man. The night continued with jabs going back and forth between Arnie, Larry, and Valentine. The empty shot glasses piled up next to me. I was 8 shots deep, all double shots. I started feeling very comfortable from all the shots, and I was feeling the environment. The guys were making me laugh my ass off. It reminded me of my friends back home. I looked at my hands. I started to recount what I remembered from the GoPro video. Tears formed and were running down the side of my face. I tried to stop myself from getting in my feels. I didn't want to come off as an emotional drunk, I thought to myself. But too late. Arnie saw my tears. Arnie put another shot next to me. Come on now. Think of this as your old barbershop back home. You tell your barber the latest news of what goes on in your life, don't you? You could do it here with me. I never leave this bar. So how could I ever go spread rumors about you? I don't even know your name, he added, throwing his hands up. I thought about what he said. He's right, I thought. I give updates of my life to my barber, so I might as well do the same with the man who's been giving me an extra free drink every 10 minutes. Alright, Arnie, I trust you, and I feel like I need to talk to someone and get it off my chest. Arnie rested his arm on the counter. You have my full attention, Mr. Nevada. I sat up straight to let him know this was serious. What I'm about to say doesn't leave here. I got sent here from Nevada. No case goes cold as long as I'm attached to it. A GoPro camera was found at a gruesome crime scene in this area. The camera had a chest mount next to it. Someone tried to crush the camera, but the dumbass must have not known. It's the SD card inside the camera that needs to be destroyed, not the camera itself. In the background, Valentine walked over to Larry and slapped him with his cowboy hat. You fucking idiot! You forgot to take the pots out of the oven before turning it on! Larry raised his arms to defend himself. Well, what the hell do you expect? I'm pushing 50 years old, and you expect me to understand technology like that? Valentine slapped him with the hat again. It's not technology, it's an oven! Valentine sat back down next to me and said, Go on, with a nod. So the footage showed some boys in the forest. They were trying to get a car stereo out of an old abandoned car, but they were captured by some cult activists. I've never had a case that had to deal with cultists, so it perturbs me because I'm not sure what's at the end of this tunnel. Anyway, it looks like this group collects hearts because the hearts of the 3 boys were not found. The stocky black male began to dry heave. Valentine pointed his hand at Larry. For fuck's sake, help him to the bathroom. He's going to blow chunks. Larry grabbed him and escorted him to the bathroom while muttering under his breath, Shit, I gotta do everything around this damn place. These guys would be lost without me. Valentine looked over at Arnie. Yeah, he's always barfing. No matter where we take him. He's got a upchuck like a dog pissing to mark his territory. I looked over at Valentine. Damn, poor guy. Arnie planted another double shot in front of me. I looked down at it and thought, damn, I need to take a piss. Hey Arnie, I said. Save my seat. I gotta take a piss. I'll just follow the trail to the pisser. Arnie and Valentine watched me walk away. I walked into the bathroom and was able to hear a brief conversation going on. The black male was telling Larry he wants to leave as soon as possible and head back home. But Larry was telling him they have one more job to do. As I walked through the door, Larry kicked the door to the shitter where the other man was. I went to the urinal, and the other 2 men remained silent. I felt like pieces were starting to come together, but it wasn't complete. And I felt a red flag somewhere, but I couldn't pinpoint it. I began to regret drinking so much, but on the other hand, I felt really good. I began having an inside dialogue with myself. I guess my pros and cons are that I'm one badass investigator, but my downfall is I love drinking. It's the only way I could cope with these cases, and the pressure from the expectations are so high. Sometimes I don't eat or sleep because I'm so stressed. Damn, this is a long piss. I finished up and washed my hands, as everyone should. I walked out of the bathroom. Valentine and Arnie were locked in what I suspected was a very serious conversation. I took my seat. They stopped talking. Out came Larry and the other guy from the bathroom, and they took their seats as well. So where was I? Oh yeah, the boys were missing their hearts. Their bodies were horribly dismembered. Maybe a hacksaw was used. One of the boys had his feet cut off, probably because they didn't want that one running off. Arnie raised his hand up. I looked up at him in bewilderment. Yeah? You got a question, sir? I slurred. Yeah, was there any evidence that you were able to pick up from the video? I mean, these guys are a cult. They must have been in robes completely covered up or something, right? You're right, I said. They were completely covered up. There's a part of the video when the three cultists are cutting up the bodies and one of the guys takes his hood off to throw up. But he does it so fast I couldn't see his face or skin color because he bent down with his back to the camera. But what I did was slow the video down and played it back, section by section. It looked like the light is reflecting off his neck, so that tells me one of the cultists had a necklace of some kind. But again, it's not hard evidence, and I can't really do anything with all that. I shifted in my seat. Anyways, fellas, I really need to get to a hotel and recoup. For tomorrow, my search continues. Do any of you know where I can find a nearby bed? Arnie pointed south. Yep, there's a little hotel down the road, but I don't think you should be driving. Let Valentine give you a lift. We would hate to hear you got pulled over and taken into jail when you're here on official business. I nodded. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. My lieutenant would be pissed if he found out I got booked while down here. Valentine winked at Arnie. Come on, Larry. And new guy. You guys should call it a night, too. As I began to make my way to the door, I noticed a peculiar woman. She kept shaking her head as if she was trying to tell me no. I didn't give a shit at this point. I needed to piss again and get to bed. Valentine, Larry, and this new dude all walked out with me. I sat in the back seat of Valentine's car. I began to pass out. In a moment of clarity, I realized I overdid it. I was drunk, beyond belief. My body was trying to keep me up. Something was wrong. My instincts were going wild. Then it dawned on me. I'm in a car filled with killers. The man who threw up in the video was the man they referred to as the new guy. Valentine's boots were always dirty because he was always digging graves out here, and Larry was his assistant. After realizing this, a part of me didn't want to run. I didn't care anymore. My life was lonely. I'm stressed every day. I'm underpaid, and I could barely make ends meet in this damn economy. Death is more of a blessing to me, I thought to myself once more. I guess I really stopped trying when my wife left me for my best friend. It didn't hurt as much as when I heard my kids start calling him Dad, my favorite title, stripped from me. I spent too much time on my cases and away from home. I deserve this. I felt like I couldn't breathe, and now there's a lot of pressure on my chest. I want to sleep. This feels good. For the first time in my life, I don't feel stressed. I can rest now. I accept death. I'm in so much pain. What's going on? I opened my eyes and looked around. I'm in a hospital? I thought I was being buried alive last night. Why am I in so much pain? My legs were killing me. My arms feel so sore, and my chest is itching like crazy, but I was too sore to move. The new guy and Larry walked into the room. Larry stepped forward. Good morning, sleepyhead. We thought you were gonna die last night, but we saved your life after you snapped and went crazy. You scared us, bro, he said with a beaming smile. A nurse and Valentine came into the room next. The nurse looked over at me.
Hello, sir. How are you feeling?
Flashbacks of the bar came to me. I remember these guys are killers. I need to get back up here fast. Nurse, I need you to call the police. I need them here ASAP. The nurse looked up at Valentine and then back at me.
Yes, the police have been called. Don't worry, they're on their way.
Phew, I thought. Backup is on its way. The nurse asked again.
How are you feeling?
I laid in a more comfortable position. I don't feel good at all. I feel like I'm fighting a hangover and I feel like I got hit by a bus. Larry chuckled. The nurse said,
I'll be right back.
and left the room. Valentine closed the door. Mr. Nevada, you went plumb crazy last night, I told Valentine. Shut up and don't move. Backup is on its way to arrest all of you. I suddenly pondered, none of this makes sense. If they did something wrong, they would be hightailing it out of here. But they showed no signs of fleeing. I glared at Valentine. What happened last night? Valentine looked over at Larry and then back to me. You tried to have us kill you. And you kept saying how depressed you were. And you talked about your wife and kids. And then you began to cut your own legs off with the hacksaw. We tried to stop you, but you pulled your gun out and said for us to not go near you. We waited till you passed out, and then we brought you here. I was bewildered. No way that's the truth. I don't get crazy like that when I drink. You're lying, Valentine. I wouldn't do that to myself. I'm not crazy. I know you guys are the cultists I saw on the GoPro. Cutting off the legs is one of your signature moves. I asked him. Why didn't you take my heart like you did the boys? All the men took a step back and remained quiet. The new guy stepped forward. We only take pure hearts. Your heart is dark, destroyed, full of depression and anger. We don't want to feast on something like that. You don't eat bad food, do you? The nurse came back into the room.
Okay, sir. We're going to have to transport you to another facility. It's a halfway home. You'll be fine there, and they'll take good care of you.
I gasped. No way. The bad guys are going free? And I'm the one getting thrown away into the dungeon? No. Wait, nurse. These men are wanted. They killed at least 3 boys. The new guy pulled the blankets off of me. Look at your legs. Look what you did to yourself. You're the crazy one here, Nevada. I grabbed my head. No, this isn't true. I'm not crazy. I looked down at my legs and began to yell. My legs are gone! Larry, you did this! Valentine doesn't do the bloody work. He just digs the holes in. And the new guy is called the new guy because he's under training for the cult. You're the crazy one, Larry. Larry chuckled again. We tried to stop you, but you lost your marbles. And you took your own legs off, man. The nurse saw things were getting out of hand.
Gentlemen, stop! I need all you men to behave. In the meantime, I'll go get his sedative.
Valentine got closer to me. He whispered, Now you won't be doing any more investigating. Get your rest now, bud. Take care. May our cult live on forever in your withering heart. And by the way, Larry said there's hardly any fat on them legs, he had said with a wink. One by one, they each left the room. The nurse came in and gave me a shot that knocked me out again. A police officer and a different nurse stepped in. They put me in a wheelchair and took me off to the nearest halfway home to live the rest of my life. I know the truth, but no one believes me now that I'm considered mentally unstable. So if you're ever out in the Lake Havasu area, heed my warning. The cult and many other stories are real.